boy Tony G and Big Lou, the Sportsbook, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, K-Ham Radio, where we go ham. Another Tuesday night, we're about to get it on. A lot of great stuff going on with, we got MLB playoffs going. We got two huge upsets in college football. Arkansas beating number 4 Tennessee. That was a big one.
Yes, it was.
Hats off to Arkansas at home. Yeah, that was. But the biggest one of them all, they say the biggest upset in history is Vanderbilt beating Alabama. That was, didn't see it coming. If you had Vanderbilt, my hat's off to you. Well, I mean, Vanderbilt was plus. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things in college football. You can't get caught slipping.
Right.
And that's a huge win for Vanderbilt. You talk about, not only did you pay us to play us, and then we beat you.
Right. And you're the number one team in the nation.
Yes. They did it. We beat you. We had a couple other, Georgia beating Auburn. Wasn't really surprised by that. Penn State beating UCLA. Number 8 Miami having a hard time with California with Cal. That was a little tighter than 39-38.
That was a tighter game that I thought too. But
yeah, USC losing to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see. There was that big week. Michigan.
No, Michigan. I don't think
they lost 27 to 7. Yeah, 27 to 10.
Yes, they lost to Washington, which is really not an upset because Washington plays good football. They can come in and beat anybody on any given day. So I don't really count that as an upset. But they were number 10, and Washington is unranked. But now that we have a 12-team playoff, it shouldn't hurt a lot of them that bad, but it's going to hurt.
Right.
Alabama's going to hurt. I don't think they're going to drop out of the top 10, but they're going to be low on that top 10 list. I haven't seen the BCS standings yet, but I got a feeling. I got a feeling that they're going to drop. Probably not out of the top 10, but they're going to be down there.
But Alabama's at number 7.
Okay.
Put them at 7.
Okay, so I was right there.
Yeah, you're right. Right. They're still in the top 10. Switching over to the NFL, crazy weekend, another crazy weekend. A lot of good games too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of good games. Starting off with our Thursday night game last Thursday night, Falcons and Bucks. Holy cow, Kirk Cousins doing it.
Kirk coming in the clutch. Got it done.
Yeah, and the Bucks. He had 509 yards.
Yeah. Well, but we all know that. That's
and one.
We know.
Yeah, he just and that was a tight game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was. Well, they went to overtime and then they scored. It was going into the half. It was 17-24. Tampa was actually up at one time, 27 to 20. And then in the fourth quarter, Atlanta scored 10. Tampa scored 3, put them in overtime, went to overtime, and handled their business. Falcons are now 3-2. That's going to be you guys got it in a tough division.
Yeah, the NFC South, despite Carolina, but we all predicted that. It's turned into a race now. I thought it was going to be clear cut. The way the teams failed, I thought it was going to be clear cut, but it's turned into a race now. So we'll have to see. Let us see what happens.
The Vikings and the Jets. How about them Vikings? 23-17. Man, and the Jets. Jets just don't have it. It just. And the crazy part is, Rodgers had 3 interceptions. Sam Darnold had 1. but like I said, they're not. I mean, he only had 14. He had 31 attempts. Aaron Rodgers had 54 attempts, which is a lot of attempts. Basically, New York's rushing game is none and void. Doesn't even
non-existent. And so these are the woes. These are the woes. These are the woes that you have when you go for the name as opposed of building the team. They went for the name,
correct.
but when you get a high caliber, high profile quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, he's coming to basically hired him to hide what ails that team, and it didn't pan out that way because not only did you get him, you had to get the offensive coordinator that he likes, that to me lacks any kind of spunk or any kind of confidence in to them scoring points. That the offense is abysmal to me. And I know there's poor offensive line play, but I just feel like the signals to me, Tony, is that I don't think Robert Saleh signed up for everything that came with Aaron Rodgers. That offensive coordinator, I don't think he's good with that, because at the end of the day, he's going to be the one that loses his job.
Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah.
And the Jets basically are the same Jets they've always been.
The same Jets they've always been. Instead of building a team, you go for the dazzle, and the dazzle doesn't win you Super Bowls. Teams do.
But hats off to the Vikings. 5-0.
Hats off to the Vikings.
Played in London. Yeah, that was 5-0. That was one. That was my. I went 4-0 this week. Not bragging, because I went 0-4 the week before. But I had the Vikings. The Ravens, and the Commanders. Game 3 is the Bears and Panthers. The Bears playing well. I know it's just the Panthers.
Starting to look like a solid team. And you're right.
Threw for 304 yards, 20 out of 29. Heck of a. I mean, that's pretty good. And they're coming along. I think it's still early to call them Super Bowl contenders like everyone wants to, or they got a long way to go.
They got a long way to go. They got some teams out there that if they could get some wins on some more well put together or sound teams in the NFC, then I could start breaking out the pom poms. But right now, especially with Detroit still in the hunt, you can't rule Green Bay out, really.
No.
But somebody's not going to make it. I don't think all 4 teams can make it to the playoffs in the NFC North.
No.
But Minnesota is definitely making. They're sticking their claim. But we'll have to see. Once the season goes along, and they play some high caliber teams, and they come out with victory, then we can start waving the pom poms. But for right now, I'm just congratulatory to them, and they need to just keep riding that wave. Justin Jefferson is phenomenal. Aaron Jones is phenomenal for them in the running game, and their defense is just nasty. So they have a good chance with the way they're built. They have a good chance, but we got to see them perform against some of these high caliber teams that we know are going to be in the playoffs. And if they can, serve them some L's, then my faith in them, or my belief in them, will be better. I have faith in them, but my belief in them will be better once we get some high caliber wins.
Next one is the Ravens and the Bengals. This was a heck of a game. They were down. Yeah, they were. Oh, I say that. The Bengals, tough. He's in a tough spot too. I mean, they got 3 superstars on their team. That running game of the Ravens, they're working well together. What I'm seeing now with the Ravens is what we thought we would see game 1, but it took a little second. They're going to be a force. Yeah, it's good. They're going to be a force. The defense is playing 41-38. The Dolphins and Patriots. This was But this is a conference game. This is one of those games that the under was definitely a good pick on it. But the Patriots, like I said, I still believe they're moving in the right direction. I know they're 1-4, and the Dolphins, they're trying to win games without Tua. They're winning here and there. We'll see 3-4 weeks from now. We'll see where they're at.
They have a real quarterback situation going on down there.
They got a real quarterback. They do. They got a real
But
speaking of quarterback. Oh, I'm sorry. Speaking of quarterbacks, the Commanders and the Browns, that kid's a stud.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is him. He is their guy. It's like they got their own version of Lamar Jackson over there.
Yeah.
They got their own version of Lamar Jackson over there, and he is tried and true for them. Congratulations to the Commanders.
Yeah, it's been a long time. That organization was a very top-notch organization. Then it fell on some hard times. Couldn't get it right. Spent a lot of money on players. Bad ownership. But it looks like they're moving in the right direction. So hats off to the Commanders. The Colts and the Jaguars. That was tough, man. Joe Flacco was there. That was
a tough division game right there.
Yeah, and listen, Flacco threw for 359, 3 TDs.
359.
No interceptions. Yeah, man. I mean, hats off to him. I love comeback stories. Just like Donaldson.
2 weeks in a row where he's been dominating. So
yeah, they lost the game 37-34, but I mean, he's doing well. See what we got here. The Bills and the Texans. This game was not as close as this score to me at times. So we learned a couple things that I've been saying about the Bills. He has no one to throw to. I think when they got rid of Stephon Diggs, they were so happy to get rid of him. They never thought, hey, who do we get to replace him? That's one. 2 is a running game. And 3, the coach came out and said, again, time management was my fault. Well, man, this is your 4th or 5th time of you saying it. You did it in the playoffs. We talked about it last year. And I think it's time that the Bills, at the end of the season, or I don't know, make some hard choices. And I think a lot of people, what I'm about to say isn't real popular, but sometimes there's a coach and he can get you there, but you can't win it.
Can't get you over the hump.
And he can't, and I'm starting to think maybe Shanahan can't do it neither. You know what I mean? Same thing. It's starting to look like, hey, you could build a good team. Yeah,
right. I agree with you on that. It's like you can build a great team, but can you get over that hump? And
can't get over.
I'm starting to agree. Can't get over the hump. But because they're not bad coaches, they just can't get it done. Both of them are great coaches, but different.
They have problems. The Raiders and Broncos. How about Sean Payton, man?
Yeah,
figuring it out.
Finding a way. Yeah,
letting that quarterback. He sure is. And he's giving Bo Nix. He's not pushing him. He's not asking him to win the game. Just manage it. He threw for 27 times, which is not a lot of time. And then the Raiders, I really thought we were going to see some better stuff from the Raiders, but obviously they got some problems internal. I think there's some problems with the coach and the players wanting to play there. It's just I have a feeling I won't be surprised if the Raiders finish 7-10. And the Broncos are finding a way to win. Bo Nix, he's under good toolage. Denver's finding the way. Let's see what we got. We'll try to pull it up there, Lou.
Yeah, it seems like I don't know. Maybe Antonio Pierce is having the same issues that um the offensive coordinator that used to be for the Chiefs that went to the Commanders and now is no longer with them.
Yeah.
Maybe he's maybe he's kind of in the same lane with him. You know, these guys are from the old school. They're kind of hard nosed, you know, and football, albeit is a tough sport. I just think that the players coming in now are about their brand, their businesses, you know, things of that nature. It is not the tough, you know, leave it all out on the field. I think that's slowly kind of leaving that aspect of football is kind of leaving, especially with concussions and things of that nature. That tough
Yes.
grind,
Yes.
you know, leave it all on the field. I think that's slowly disappearing from the game. I'm not saying that the game is not tough and the game is not hard. I'm just saying that that brand of football is slowly leaving.
Absolutely. And then you have the San Francisco going into the third quarter, winning 23-10, and hats off to Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Murray, he didn't have a huge day, 195, one TD, one interception. Brock Purdy threw for 244, two interceptions. I mean, Brandon Ayuk, my gosh, he had 147 yards. I mean, they were moving the ball, but they just couldn't score. And the Cardinals just elevated their game in San Francisco, by the way, and beat them. I mean, you can't really hats off. You know, if somebody asked me, is it the panic button for San Fran? I don't think so because they got so much talent that's hurt, and they'll be now. I don't know if McCaffrey's going to actually come back because apparently that's way worse than they're saying. I have a funny feeling that if he does come back, it'll be for limited use playoffs. But that being said, yeah. So we go to the Packers and the Rams. The Rams held tough. Going into the third, and then the Packers threw up 14. Jordan Love. The Packers are going to be a force. Jordan Love, keeps getting better. I mean, he has a couple. He has a couple. You're like, oh, what's he doing? But I mean, he had one interception. He had two TDs. The defense is playing well. I mean, right now it's such a team effort. Don't be. I mean, like I said, we saw them last year make a very deep run. I would not be surprised if they make another run. Now, this next one is a little bit surprising because if you look at his stats for the last 2 weeks, he actually has good stats, and a lot of people were throwing him out to Daniel Jones. His stats are looking good. 257 yards, two TDs. Geno Smith had a good day too, 284, one TD. But Giants' running game was pretty dominant. Tyrone Tracy Jr. ran for 129. They had Darius Slayton caught 120. They were moving it. New York squeezed out 9 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
New York is two. Yep, New York. Yes, blocked the field goal. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, it's still early. I mean, the Giants are 2-3, but Daniel Jones' play is definitely improving. Hopefully, he comes in his own. I mean, he's lacking a lot of stuff too over there. I mean, I know last year they had Saquon Barkley, but I mean, he was lacking. He was making some immature choices of throwing the ball. But I think all in all, as he's starting to move forward, they're getting him settled in. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see going forward where exactly he falls. I don't know if this game was late because it was delayed. The Cowboys and the Steelers.
Right. Yeah, it was delayed.
And this was Yeah, under game. This was a grimy game like Pittsburgh likes to play. I mean, it was 6-3 going into the half. Going into the fourth quarter, it was 6-10. You know what I mean? Right. Like it was. The defense played tough. So Pittsburgh's defense played pretty tough, and I'm not taking anything away from Dallas's defense. And the reason why I just look at this is Pittsburgh doesn't have enough offensive weapons. They just don't. They're still playing that old school small ball, as you would, hard, and they just don't have enough weapons. I mean, Dak threw for 352, had 2 bad interceptions.
Yeah, 2 terrible interceptions.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that people don't. I mean, you criticize not. Yeah. I'm just saying when it comes to crunch time and it comes to the playoffs, and you play a team that has some offensive weapons, because Pittsburgh should have been up. I don't know how high. They should have been up 20-0 at some point and they just couldn't. They couldn't score. Hats off to Dallas's defense.
Right.
But I think going forward, Pittsburgh's going to have to make some moves.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some moves.
Oh, yeah.
Russell's not in. Yeah. And he's a good runner. He can scramble, but he can't put the ball in the air. It's he needs major work. Well, he needs major work.
The deal with Russell is, as they were talking last night, was he's not even ready to play. He's still getting over that injury. Right. So he really won't be ready for another week or two. So
why is he even dressing out to play, though? Well, I guess he has to stay ready in case something happens. But
emergency, yeah, they said he's an emergency quarterback. But I mean, they're 3-2. The Steelers, the Cowboys are 3-2. This is going to be that fun time of year. The next 5 games, you'll see some people pulling away. And, in years past, we've seen the Steelers finish 12-4, 13, and then they get blown away in the, getting blown away in the first round of the playoffs. Same thing with Dallas. But my hat's off to Dallas for winning. Hey, you got to win whoever they put in front of you. So, all right, I got a few minutes here. I want to talk. Somebody was asking me about buying picks. Somebody asked me about the show direction. And I said, because they thought I said, look, this show that you're watching or listening to, it's just 2 guys having fun, betting football, small time. Right. We are never once did I say we're shutting down casinos. They're escorting us off because we won so much money. Never once. We're just 2 normal guys having fun, talking about football, basketball, baseball, and gambling. College ball. So they asked me about buying picks, and I said, well, there's a couple big time guys. I don't want to mention any names. Real flamboyant. There's one of them always answering the phone with his stack of money, showing you that he's making $100,000 bets. Okay, so that's all BS. And when you go, oh man, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to tell you something. There's more than 4, but the top 4 sportsbook guys couldn't make $100,000 bet if they wanted to. And the reason being is the casino won't let them. When you see someone making $100,000 bet in a sports book, the only reason why the casino is taking it because they know that they can beat them. But when they know that you're an established player, you can be an established player all you want for a couple $100. But when you start coming to $100,000 a game, what the casino does is they start saying, Lou, you're on a $10,000 limit. And you're like, oh man. So now you got to go to 10 different casinos. And some guys are on a $2,000. And a lot of your top, it's a very rough way to make a living. That's why Lou always say, have fun with it. Manage your bankroll, because that's your biggest problem with gambling is managing. Is people don't manage. They get a big win, it goes to their head because
they can win more.
It's like a high. It's like a drug.
Right.
It's a drug. I just won $10,000. I can do this. Once a week. You could, not probable, but it's not probable. It's, I can't get what you're saying. So what I'm saying is, Man, if you want to buy picks, good for you. And I'm saying that when you look at it, those people are selling you picks. They got plans 25 a month, 50, all the way up to $300, $500 a month. Your top pros, your top guys that gamble, they're not giving away picks. It's hard enough to make money in the sports betting industry right now. Things have changed.
Right.
Especially when you're betting on an app, they're monitoring everything you're doing. Going up to the windows a little bit different. If you don't use a loyalty card, you can get away with some stuff. But again, the casino is there to make money. And if you're listening to someone that says they're a top bettor and they're showing you how much money they can go to the window with, they're not a top bettor, because your top bettors all have limits. It's just how it is when it comes to sports betting. Now you got guys like Dana White, very rich man who gambles very, very large on blackjack and baccarat. Totally different. We're not talking. He's going in there, with a couple $1 million, playing 50,000 a hand or whatever. But the casino always has a right to turn your action down. They don't have to take it, and by no law, they don't have. They can turn anyone down. So my suggestion would be is let the people that you see, like I said, I won't mention any names. And there's a couple of them. They're showing you their job is to sell subscriptions. That's how they make their money. They need, if you have 100 people at $200 a month, it's a lot of money, and you just keep, and all you got to do is supply them with a winner every now and then and keep them rolling. So I'm not saying it's a scam. I'm just saying, I'm telling you for a fact, the top sports bettors aren't giving away picks. It's very hard for them to go to. They're hitting. A lot of them live in Las Vegas. They're hitting casinos that you've never heard of off strip, because a lot of the big books ban them. Won't take their action. Or if they do take their action, it's so minimum. It's a couple $100. And these guys are looking for major ties to turn in the ties, and they have to watch how much they bet about changing the odds. So that being said, no, we do not sell pictures. Just two guys having fun on a great radio station. Love you guys to interact with us. Hit us up if you ever have anything you need us to announce, or you like to call in on the show. Not a problem. We could set all that up. So that being said, I just want to thank everyone again. Every Tuesday night, 8:00, Tony G, Big Lou, KM Radio family, always 24 hours of great programming. 24. They've got shows, we got music, we got all kind of community events that KM Radio is involved with. All right, I just want to thank everyone again for tuning in. Second half, when we come back, we'll give you our picks that you don't have to pay for. I'm not saying it's law. I'm just saying, hey, it's the deal. We're just giving away picks. All right, right here on KM Radio, we go ham. Cool. KM Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G, Big Lou. KM Radio every Tuesday night, the sports book. Like I said, reach out to us on Facebook. We got a sports book page, and we have a KM Radio page. Reach out to us if you have any events you'd like us to do, or just speak up on a new business that may be opening. All righty, let's get into it. San Francisco, the first game is going to be San Francisco, Seattle. This is going to be a tough one, Lou.
Yeah, division game. 12th man, 49ers coming off a loss with Arizona. They still have injuries they have to deal with. Brandon Ayuk's got to come out of his phone. So they got some stuff. They got some stuff to deal with. And it looks like Seattle is on a good run. They're on a good run. Even though, special teams cost them the game with New York, but still they've been on a roll. So they're not going to be an easy out unless you can contain Gino, which is not hard to do.
Yeah. The over's 47.5. I like the under at 47.5. Like, I could see this being a tight game. But I'd have to go over. I know there were some injuries, both sides. again, this is another thing we have access to, or everyone has access to. Go and look at your injury report. And starting to get into October, starts getting cooler in Seattle, just like last night for Pittsburgh. That was a rainstorm, huge rainstorm. So it's starting to be that time of year where you got to pay attention to the weather. That's the extra man. You know what I mean? That's the extra man you're playing against. And under overs could be affected. Is it really windy? Is the kicking game going to be affected? These are all stuff that you have access to. Right now, I like the under. Again, it's one of those games where I think you got to go Sunday or not Sunday, Thursday morning. Check out the injury reserve.
Yes, absolutely.
And absolutely, and check it out. Make sure everybody's playing for San Fran. And like I said, San Fran moved the ball well the other day. They just couldn't get in the end zone.
Right.
So game 2 is a Jacksonville Jaguars, Chicago Bears. What do you think? Chicago keeps rolling or what?
I think Chicago keeps rolling at home. Jaguars are 1-4. They can't figure it out. They cannot figure it out. Trevor Sunshine rather he's Trevor now. He's not Sunshine anymore. He's Trevor. And Trevor and that offense has got to figure it out. He's got to figure it out because he's got talent. I know the quarterback play is not as good as it's been, but it's week 6. So it's time to start figuring out and stringing together some dubs for your coach. Doug Peterson's an offensive guy. You know, look what he did with Nick Foles. But I know we're talking in the past, and it's a brand new thing, and but I just haven't seen it from him this season. I don't know if he's regressed or is there injury lingering or something that we don't know about, but it just seems like Trevor's regressed and not progressed.
Well, I'm not going to put it all on him. I'm going to put it on the Jacksonville Jaguars as a complete team. They haven't progressed.
Yeah,
they're missing some parts, and there has been some injuries. And for whatever reason, me and Lou believe this. Not every situation is a great situation for every quarterback.
Right.
And we're seeing that with Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, is it a fluke that he won 5 games? Is it a fluke that he's playing? And here's the deal with Sam Darnold. It ain't like he's throwing for 500 yards a game. He's just playing good football. This guy's been playing football since he's 9 years old. He knows how to play the quarterback position. But some kind of way, Minnesota
bring out the best out of. They bring the best out of. So
and right now they locked them. And right now, I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars are bringing the best out of Lawrence. I just don't. That's my opinion.
And I agree with you, Tony. I agree with you on that because it doesn't go from where he was to where he is now that fast. Without they got to do something. Revamp the off. Relook at some things. Watch some tape. See what's working, what's not working. See what type of coverage they're throwing at them, and you scheme up something that can get your quarterback success.
I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the year if we see a different coach.
I'm with you on that, Tony. I think at the end of this season, we're going to be seeing a new coach in Jacksonville. Maybe an ex-Patriot, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know if Mr. Belichick does he want to coach?
That's good. That's good. I think it's still in him, but it's got to be it's got to be a perfect situation for him, though. He's not going to, and he's going to have to, he's going to have to have a little control too.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. Washington and Baltimore. This will definitely be a true test for Washington. They're giving up 6.5 points. Maybe tease this up a little to make it 8.5 points. This is going to be a really good. It's going to be it is going to be a good test for the Washington if they can somewhat control the run. Baltimore can be scored on. They have a good defense, and Washington can put up some points. Check and see. Part of me, Wildcat. Tweaking Washington to 8.5. That's a lot of points. But this is going to be the determining factor. This, not like it's the end of the season if they lose to.
Right.
But it's gonna be a test. It's gonna be a test for the kid. Like I said, I like Washington tweezing it up to 8.5. And again, like we said before, these are just picks that we're making. Then we eliminate the other ones and go over them 50,000 times, and then go from there.
Right.
Houston Texans, New England Patriots. You gotta like the Texans. I don't know if I like the spread exactly. And that's another thing. That's that. Giving up points, and the money line's 320. Ain't no money on that. The over's 37.5. Houston's got a lot of players out. All right. Now they beat the Bills. I mean, there's no doubt about it, but they got a couple studs on defense are out. Got some guys on the offensive side. They're not playing full man. And I think New England at home to keep it close. I don't know if we ever cover the 7. Again, definitely need to look at the injury reserve list. And see. But obviously, blank money. Yeah, the Texans over New England, but there's a lot to factor. Money line at 320 and the points at 7. You could tweak that New England, maybe get you 2 more, maybe be at 156. And then, yeah. And like I said, come this time of year, as it gets later into the season, the spreads get tougher and tougher to beat.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the name of the game. It's you're playing against the spread.
Takes longer to heal from them injuries too, because it's cold now.
Yes, and it's starting to
So,
Philadelphia and Cleveland. What's your thoughts?
Oh man. Philadelphia, Cleveland. Me personally, I'm staying away from it.
That 8.5 is the spread. I know, because Philly's hasn't been playing good.
No,
Cleveland,
and they burned me 2 weeks in a row. So
right.
Staying away from Philly.
Yeah, this is one of them games that I would stay away from. It's a 12 o'clock game on Sunday. Yeah, it's not one of my favorites.
Right.
What do you think? What do you think about Indianapolis Colts and Tennessee?
Ooh.
They only got this at 1. As well as Flacco's been playing.
So they got Indianapolis. Because the Titans need a quarterback. They need a quarterback.
Titan needs a quarterback. Yes, they do.
They need a quarterback desperately. And with Flacco on the run, I know this is a away game, but it's a division game.
Yeah.
So they know these guys well. They know their defense well. They know their coach well. And oh man. I'm not sure. I might have to go stats with this one. Like any touchdowns and yardage, I might have to break it down that way on this one. Put some parlays up like that. I'm not sure about the actual game because yes, it's a road game, but it's a division game. And the Colts pretty much sometimes the Colts have the Titans number and sometimes it'll be back and forth, but I just don't trust Will Levis. But I also know that they can pull off a victory at home against a division rival too.
Yeah. This is a tight game. Might want to check out. Might want to check out some player props on this.
Yeah, and that's where I would go with it. Player prop.
Player props. Player props. How about the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Las Vegas Raiders?
That's another game. Little bit.
It's going to be
a little bit. Yeah.
It'll be grimy. It'll be a grimy.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a grimy game. Yeah. It's going to be slow pace, taking all the seconds. I mean, if you watch Pittsburgh, man, they're playing. They just don't have enough. They just don't have enough weapons to put up any points. You know, it's funny when you think about it. They had unbelievable weapons a few years ago.
Yeah.
The running back, Antonio Brown. Yeah. I mean, it was like, wow.
They were Harris, Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
That other receiver.
Yeah, and none of those guys panned out anywhere else. Isn't that weird? When you think about it, it's pretty weird. Those guys were superstars, and they went somewhere else, and they kind of, you know, after you saw they didn't really do that well, you're like, well, how smart is Tomlin? Obviously, he's a read of people, and I'm sure he looks for. I'm sure Tomlin reminds me of the type of person that he's big into character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you could just tell that the way he talks. And yeah, this is another one. You know, the over's 36.5, and at first glimpse, you're like, oh man, that's doable. Is it? With who? Who's scoring the points? I want to know who's. You know what I mean? I mean, but that's not a lot of points. 18 points apiece, and then you got the hook on it. The hook is the half a point. Yeah, it's another one of them games. Maybe check out some player props, some rushing props, some passing props. Take it from there. Chargers and Denver. This is going to be a good game. Always a good game. It's in Denver. The weather shouldn't be a factor because it's still nice in Denver right now. Actually, the Chargers got easy on this. Because really they could be playing Denver in December.
It's true.
You know, which changes a lot for San Diego. You know, I know the Chargers are definitely improved coaching. They're not making as many stupid mistakes.
Right.
You got Sean Payton. You know, I'll tell you what. Again, this may not be one that's going to be on my list to bet. Denver Broncos at home +3. Again, go over your injured reserve. I want to make sure that defense is okay. You're not missing too many starters. So go over. But I like Broncos at home. -110. The Chargers are going to be tough. Like I said, they're definitely playing better football. They're not making as many stupid mistakes, but we already knew that. Harbaugh's a pretty tough guy. You know what I mean? It's kind of basic football. We're going to get it right. But I like Denver. I like Denver at the house. This is going to be a good one, and I definitely got to watch it. 325. You already know Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. Tell me all about it. Tell me what you think.
Yeah. Detroit Lions, Dallas Cowboys, in Cowboy Stadium. 3-1 Lions, 3-2. In Texas Stadium. 3-1 Lions, 3-1 Cowboys, 3-2. They got victory in Pittsburgh on the road. Now they're back home. And Detroit, I think they're starting to get their groove back a little bit. They felt, they kind of lost it with a couple of games, but I think they're getting their groove back. They're 3-1, and hard to say. You gotta check like we always do. Check your injury reports. Check it Thursday. Check it again Friday. Make sure that the players that they need are there because this is a winnable game for Detroit. It's a winnable
And the
game for
Cowboys.
Detroit.
And it's
And for the
winnable.
Cowboys as well. For the Cowboys as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, both teams are kind of lacking in the secondary. They'll have one good star, and then the rest of them are kind of, mediocre or a little bit under. But yeah,
So
it's hard to pick.
I tell you what, I'm gonna make them mad. I'm gonna go with Detroit -3 for the +100, and I'm gonna tell you why. Detroit's running game is gonna expose Dallas's lack to stop the run, and that's one thing that Pittsburgh didn't have, and the other thing that Detroit has over Pittsburgh is they can move the ball by passing it. They got weapons. All right. Now that being said, I can see this turning into a blowout. You know what I mean? I definitely can see this being a high scoring game. And Dak's gonna have, and here's the difference. Dak's gonna have to play intercepted, non-intercepted ball, because when you're playing a team like Detroit, this is a team that could capitalize on those. On those, I mean, Pittsburgh is not a high float. They're a tough team. Play great defense. They play it grimy. They gotta, I mean, it's just fight for every yard. Where Detroit's just going to go, man, we're going to bombs away with you. You know what I mean? And this is where I think we're going to see how many holes are in Dallas's defense or how many holes are in Detroit's defense.
Absolutely.
And right now, we got to look at the injury report. But right now, Dallas has got some serious injuries on defense, and I think Detroit can, not saying they're guaranteed that they are, but they can expose that Dallas defense from stopping a run. And Golf, he plays pretty consistent ball. He's done well in Detroit. And I know Dak's good, not saying Dak isn't good. Again, this is going to come down if Detroit can jump out on the lead, a big enough lead. I like Detroit plus the 100, -3.5. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh man, they're killing me." Hey man, that's what I like right now. May change it up. But we'll have to see how everybody reports for the 4-7-4. How it all comes out on the injury reserve. See all who is injured for Dallas and all who is injured for Detroit. Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers. You off top of your head, you think Atlanta Falcons should blow these people out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it probably be a little closer than we think.
Right.
It could, it has potential. And this is one where you go, Atlanta should blow them out. Should blow them out. Not giving up 6 points. But when they made the spread, there's a reason why they made the spread to where it is. Carolina should get pretty hyped to play Atlanta. I mean, I unless you got something you're hiding from me. I mean, can you see Carolina beating the Falcons?
Not likely because of the fact that Carolina, just for the fact that it's a division team. I don't think they have the maturity on. When I say maturity, I don't necessarily mean that all the players are young. There's football knowledge that I call maturity as well. They don't have enough of that on the defense.
No, they're still young. They're still young. Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins is gonna carve them up. He's gonna carve them up real good. So I guess they have to press their receivers and stay active, and not try to get any turnovers. That'll probably help them out. But I just don't feel it because I feel like the Falcons got more momentum and they got a better quarterback.
now the one thing that does concern me a little bit is we both know. Guys, put another rubber. We both know that in the past, Atlanta hasn't traveled well.
Mm-mm.
That's one thing about Atlanta they play well at home, play great at home, but they do not travel. They do not travel as well. But I like Atlanta. Um, I like Atlanta -6.
Okay.
Lock of the day. -6. We got the lock of the day. All righty. Let's go to the Giants and the Bengals. What do you think? Are the Bengals the best team that's 1-4?
I'd like to say so. I would think so.
I like to say so too. They're not catching any breaks. The Giants are playing better. And what's so crazy is Cincinnati was right there to win this game. And it's almost like we've talked about this in the past. When you're on right now, everything goes in your favor. Mm-hmm. Every break, and Cincinnati, if it can go wrong, it goes wrong for them. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow. It's like they're jinxed almost.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Joe Burrow just sits there and says, what happened from me going to the Super Bowl and every year I've gotten knocked down?
Yeah.
They're 1-4. They're 1-4. If they lose this one and they go 1-5, I mean, that's a tough hole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it can't be done, but Lou, that's
tough.
That's tough.
1-5 is tough. Now is when you're now is almost the time where your football body should be there now. You took some live action hits for the ones while playing these games. So your ones that are on the trenches each and every down should be out there.
Yeah. That's I mean, the good news for them is that division's a little soft.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Baltimore's just coming into their own, but they're not behind by too much. They're behind 2 games. Don't want to go behind by 3. You know what I mean? So early in the season.
Right.
Yeah, I know New York pulled out the miracle. But I just think Cincinnati is the best 1-4 team we got. Yeah. I like Cincinnati -3.5. We'll write that in there. And the last game is the Buffalo Bills and the Jets. You know this is going to be ugly.
Yeah, it's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be a defensive game.
We got to win.
Mm-hmm.
They got to win. Both of us don't want to lose. I mean, we don't want to. You don't want to lose a division game.
Right.
I know I'm over here in silence because I hate picking
fine.
the Bills. Yeah, I hate picking the Bills. So if I'm looking at it on. This is going to be a tight game. Does Josh Allen? Do they come up with a new scheme for Josh Allen? Something like I said, they need to be. To me, the Buffalo Bills right now need to be on the phone with with Vegas, saying, "Hey, does this guy want to play for you? If he don't, we want him." Or they need to be on the phone trying to find somebody that they say, "Hey, man, do you want to play wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills?" Because they need some choices. Buffalo, with all the stats, Buffalo should beat them. They beat them. Last year we lost to them once. We beat them. Mm-hmm. Buffalo -2.5 on the road. I think it's a must win. I still don't think, just so we're on the same page, everybody. So I'm picking my team to win. I still don't think we're going anywhere. I think we go to the playoffs. I'm not saying we're going. Like I said, we're lacking too much, and I think some of the problem in New York is I think the head coach and Rodgers don't Usai, whoever the word is. I don't think they they gel real well. And I also think that Aaron Rodgers' wide receivers aren't to his skill level.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see the game like he sees it, and they're having a rough time. And I think as the season goes, if it doesn't get way better for Rodgers, I think this will be his last year. Only because why would you? You know, I mean, you're going to I'm going to be 41 years old. You know, I mean, he can still play, but I mean, how long? Just that's why I said with Belichick, yeah, can he still coach? Sure. Do you want to rebuild a team at 72, or you want to go home? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
That's
go home.
absolutely
Yeah, go home with your hot 24-year-old girlfriend. I mean, what do you want to do here? I mean, that's what he. So that's the name of the game. He's got plenty of money. It ain't like he's trying to figure out he needs Christmas money. So we will see. But yeah, I like the Bills -2.5, -110. All right, guys. I want to thank everyone for tuning in every Tuesday night. Tony G, Big Lou, Sportsbook, KM Radio, the best radio station in the country. Remember, 24 hours a day, WWKM Radio. Press play. There you go, 24 hours a day of great programming. All right, Lou, we'll see you next Tuesday. I want to thank everyone again for tuning in. It's your boy, Tony G, Big Lou, Sportsbook, KM Radio, where we go ham.